Welcome. In this video, you'll learn how to create an effective search in APA PsycInfo using index terms. We'll use the APA Thesaurus to look up index terms and conduct a search in APA PsycInfo. While I'll search using the Ovid platform, the strategies introduced in this video are applicable for any version of APA PsycInfo. In APA PsycInfo, go to the Advanced Search, and then make sure the Map Term to Subject Headings button is selected just below the search box. This button allows you to search for index terms. Now we can start searching for our terms, one term at a time. I'll start by typing PTSD in the search box and selecting the Search button. Because we selected the Map Term to Subject Headings, the next page shows us the closest index term to our search. In this case, it looks like the official index term for PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. If you want to be extra sure that this is the correct term to use, select the I button all the way to the right of the term. Doing so opens a page that shows you the year the index term was added to the database and gives you a definition of the term. After reading this information, if this looks like the term you want to use, select the Back button on your browser. Notice that APA PsycInfo automatically selected this term, so all we need to do to run the search is to select the Continue button. On the main search page, we can look in the Search History section to see the number of results APA PsycInfo found. In this case, there are quite a few articles tagged with our index term. Also, notice that there is a / at the end of post-traumatic stress disorder. This / ensures that the term is searched as an index term. You might also notice the letters EXP in front of our term. We'll get to what this means in just a bit. Now let's include our second term, telehealth, to our search. Following the same steps as before, it looks like the official index term is telemedicine. In addition to automatically selecting the index term, APA PsycInfo also automatically selects the Auto Explode button. Let's take a minute to explore what this button does. In APA PsycInfo, the index terms are organized from broadest to narrowest term. I'll select telemedicine so you can see exactly where it fits into the structure. Here we can see that there are two broader index terms, computer-assisted therapy and electronic health services. There are also a handful of narrower terms displayed on this page. When the Auto Explode button is selected, APA PsycInfo searches for the main index term, in our example telemedicine, but also looks for articles tagged with any narrower terms. So if we auto-explode telemedicine, we'll also find articles tagged with online therapy, teleconferencing, and teleconsultation. Auto-explode is a quick way to find more articles that might be relevant to your topic. Remember that EXP we saw in front of post-traumatic stress disorder? This means that we used auto-explode with this index term, and therefore also captured articles that are tagged with narrower index terms. If, instead of using auto-explode, you want to hand-pick the narrower terms that you use, you can do that too. Select the index term and go to the narrower terms list. I just want to include online therapy, telepsychiatry, and telepsychology in my search, so I'll select the boxes to the left of them. Next, I'll select the Continue button. Now, back on our search page, let's take another look at our search history. Looking at our telemedicine search, notice that APA PsycInfo automatically added ORs in between the terms. The ORs tell the database to look for articles tagged with any of these index terms. Also notice that this search is missing the EXP. Remember, this is because we chose to add specific narrower terms to our search instead of using auto-explode. Okay, let's combine our two searches and see how many articles we find in APA PsycInfo that address both PTSD and telemedicine. To do this, I'm going to select the boxes to the left of my searches and then select the Combine with And. We use And to tell APA PsycInfo to look for articles that are tagged with any one of the index terms related to telemedicine and the post-traumatic stress disorder index term. Combining our terms gives us over 200 articles. Scrolling down the page, we can begin to look through our results. If your results look too broad, you may need to refine your search. For this topic, I think I might be interested in focusing on veterans as our population group. To do this, go back to the search box and search for veterans. In this case, there are several index terms being suggested, but military veteran sounds like the most promising option. I'll select the box to the left of it and then the Continue button. Now in our search history, we can combine our three searches with And to find articles tagged with post-traumatic stress disorder, any of our telemedicine concepts, and military veterans. Notice we go from over 200 articles to less than 100 results. Adding military veterans to our search has narrowed the topic and reduced the results. If you're looking for additional index terms to add to your search, find a relevant article and take a look at what index terms are tagged to it. For example, I'll select the title for the article titled In Office, In Home, and Telehealth Cognitive Processing Therapy for Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder in Veterans. Now, scroll to the section labeled Subject Heading. Here we can see that the article came up with our results because it was tagged with the index terms military veterans, online therapy, and post-traumatic stress disorder. But perhaps we want to narrow our search even further by including this new index term, cognitive processing therapy. We can do this by going back to the search box and searching for this index term. In closing, constructing a search to find relevant articles in APA PsycInfo is as easy as looking up the index term for your search concepts and combining them in the search history. Thanks for watching. For more search tips and strategies, please see our YouTube channel or visit the APA website